Burnley 2, Tottenham 5. What a complete difference this match made from what we witnessed on Tuesday in the Carabao Cup. Welcome into Top of the Perch. I am your host, as always, Nick Burt. And we just need to get fully into this match. Like I said, Tottenham win 5-2, continue their unbeaten run in the Premier League. Yes, it's only 4 games into the season, but they still do not have... They still have a donut hole in that loss column. Obviously, coming off of Tuesday, losing in the Carabao Cup on penalties, did put a little bit of doubt into the fan base. But then you also had to remember that this was a B squad that played on Tuesday. And, we only brought on half the A squad players late in the second half. So this was back to our full standards. And to start out, it was worrying. A Foster goal in the 4th minute for Burnley definitely wasn't good. I can tell you that. It was not good at all. It was a goal that it's on the borderline of that being a Vicario mistake, not like a mistake for him not getting it, more than a mistake of him putting it in the net. And it like that just our back line was just horrific on just the build up to that play. So watching that, I'm like, oh, this may be a long game, and that whatever the dark cloud from the Fulham game might be carrying over here. It didn't really. As soon as that goal went in, you kind of felt the momentum shift in the game to the Tottenham side that led to a Heung-min Son goal in the 16th minute. It was calming goal. We're back to level. And once that goal went in, I don't think Burnley ever had the momentum to get back in this game. Tottenham just kept being on that front foot, kept getting good opportunities, just couldn't get that ball in the back of the net. And then in the 2nd minute of stoppage time in the first half, a just frantic play off of a corner, ball bounced around, a few players had a few good shots. It ends up with Christian Romero outside of the box, just firing one into the top corner, something you'd think like a former striker for Tottenham would put in the net. That was a Christian Romero goal. Absolutely insane. Tottenham go into the halftime 2-1 up. So hope now is, let's just hold on to this 2-1 lead. Let's get to the end of the game. We'll be happy with this. Well, it didn't stop there. The momentum continued on. James Maddison ends up getting a goal in the 54th minute to put Tottenham up 3-1. Then Heung-min Son goes off again. He 63rd minute, beautiful goal, gets him his brace on the day. And then that was 3 minutes later in the 66th minute, he just gets in on net again, puts it in the back of the net. That is the hat trick for Heung-min Son. I believe they said it was his 5th hat trick in his Premier League career. So that puts them up 5-1. Burnley get a goal in the 4th minute of stoppage time. It was what it was. Probably one that could have been saved by Vicario, but it didn't really matter in the end, obviously. The goal difference might matter in the end, but most likely not, if we're honest. It's not going to matter, goal difference, if you're competing for the title. Anything else, yes, it's going to matter, but I don't think we're going to be competing for the title, so it's probably going to matter. I just basically went 3 different directions with that, but goal difference will end up mattering. Yes, it would have been nice to, add a +4 to that goal differential instead of a +3, but as of now, it's not going to make a big problem. So given that, we might as well take a look at some of the stats from this game. The ever important possession stat that I love looking at, Tottenham at 54% compared to Burnley's 46%. This was the first game I felt like Tottenham were facing a somewhat equal team, I guess I would say, in the play style way, because obviously Ange Postecoglou kind of gets his ideas from Pep Guardiola. Vincent Kompany, the manager from Burnley, played for Pep Guardiola for years at Man City. So then he moves on into the coaching world, brings that to Burnley basically. So kind of evenly tactically wise. So I wasn't expecting Tottenham to have like 60 or 65% possession today. I expected it to be more even like it was. Tottenham end up with 21 total shots compared to Burnley's 16. A big factor in Tottenham getting a 5-2 win is 11 of those shots were on target for Tottenham compared to Burnley only having 4 on target. Now, if you technically look at that stat, that means 50% of their shots on target went in the net. Not great, but when you're putting up 11 shots on net and get 5 in, it kind of balances out. Out of side of the box, Tottenham had 10 shots compared to Burnley's 8. Within the box, Tottenham had 11 compared to Burnley's 8. So Burnley was quite even on their shots in and out of the box. The expected goals, Tottenham win again on expected goals. This is the second time this season. They had a 2.26 expected goals compared to Burnley's 1.36. And then another stat that I just keep mentioning every time because it's just mind-boggling to me that this is the same team that put up like 200 passes last year. 563 passes yesterday versus Burnley. Burnley went for 467. And then if you look at the accurate passes, Tottenham with 488, which is an 87% percentage compared to Burnley's 376, which was at 81%. Like I said, that number will continue to astound me most likely as long as Ange Postecoglou is the manager here, given what we've gone through in the past 5 years. That just absolutely dead fossil football that plays off the back foot and you're never really doing anything in the game. I'm glad that's gone. Fouls, Burnley definitely got more fouls in the game. They had 15 compared to Tottenham's 9. They ended up with 4 yellow cards out of those 15 compared to Tottenham getting 3 out of 9. And then corners, Burnley did have the upper hand there. They had 7 corners compared to Tottenham's 4. So it was a good day on the stat line and a good day on the field. The stats match up with who should have won the game. That's not always the case, but today it was. So it is now time to obviously move on to my player ratings as we always do. So let's get into this. So going into this game, it was kind of difficult to tell on Tuesday, but it felt like this team fit back into that 4-2-3-1 formation compared to what seemed to be a 4-3-3 on Tuesday against Fulham. So they're back to what they were running in the Premier League the previous 3 games. And we did have a major shakeup in the starting lineup. Richarlison was no longer starting up top in that 9 position. It was Heung-min's son moving on from that left wing. He moves up front, and he only gets a hat trick in this game, which very much earns him a 9.8. I don't think you're going to see a 10 performance on here just because you'd have to be absolutely perfect to get that. And, players still make mistakes. So that 10 is something that should be awarded to very few. So it's a 9.8. Of course, it's going to be a man of the match performance. So then we move on to the player that replaced Son in his position, Manor Solomon, the free signing from over the summer from technically Shakhtar Donetsk, but his contract technically kind of canceled. He was at Fulham last year. His first start in the Spurs shirt. He only goes out and puts up a 9.0, 2 assists on the day. Just looked absolutely outstanding in that position. I feel like this is going to be more the position if we keep this formation, which I wouldn't see why you wouldn't deviate from it right now. I'm expecting new signing Brendan Johnson from Nottingham Forest to step into that position. I think Solomon's still going to be a really good sub off the bench, most likely. But that was just an outstanding performance, nonetheless, from him in his first start for Tottenham. He hasn't seen a ton of playing time either so far this year. So to put up a 9 in basically your first full minutes of play time, absolutely outstanding performance there. James Maddison gets an 8.9. He had that goal to start the second half in, I believe it was the 54th minute. He is that, center playmaker that Tottenham had needed since Christian Eriksen left this club 4 years ago, I think it was. And they just never replaced him. They replaced him with worse talent of himself. But James Maddison is that player. He's absolutely outstanding in the position he plays. I'm excited to see him continue to develop under Postecoglou because they can only keep going up here. Dejan Kulusevski gets a 7.5. He had a good performance. He didn't look outstanding out there. He did get a yellow card, which kind of affects that score. But he still had a very good game. I also wouldn't be surprised if he maybe moves over to the left side and then you put Brendan Johnson up there in that right wing position. I'm not sure what Postecoglou has planned for Brendan Johnson. Of course, the reports, signed him on deadline day. Reports said that this is who Postecoglou wanted all summer, which I believe that Postecoglou wanted him, but I don't believe that he's wanted him all summer because I believe that Tottenham should have got that done sooner if that was the case. If that's not the case, I'd understand, why this was done on deadline day, basically. Like I said, I still believe he was a true target for Postecoglou. I think he'll look really good in the system. Really excited to see how he plays out. He was a really good player at Fulham. Or I shouldn't say at Fulham because he was at Nottingham Forest. He was a really good player at Forest. Helped him gain promotion to the Premier League. He was crucial in that. And, he had a really good season last year in his first season in top flight football. So I'm really excited to see him at this club. Obviously, I know the pain that Forest fans kind of feel right now, losing, one of their own. He's been with that club since he was 12. So we're going to hopefully take good care of him. I'm excited to see how he plays for us. And like I said, I'm just excited to see what Postecoglou has planned for him. Yves Bissouma gets back in the starting lineup. We did not see him at all on Tuesday. Didn't even get subbed on. Gave him a 7.7. He could have easily gotten 8. He's still a great midfielder. I'm really glad that we bought him last year. Fabio Paratici, absolutely outstanding signing there. I mean, we're looking at 3 of his signings starting right now, and I mention this every week. 3 of his signings on this team right now, they all look absolutely outstanding. He should be arrested. Well, I mean, he technically already was arrested, but he should be arrested for the absolute highway robberies he spent on these players, getting them for so cheap and them being absolutely outstanding for us. So, again, Fabio Paratici, wherever you are, you've done a great service to Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, and we know all your criminal activities were not with us. They were in Italy with Juventus. So one of his other signings, of course, Pape Sarr, gets a 7.7. Like with Kulusevski, probably would have been higher if it wasn't for the yellow card, because it was kind of a stupid yellow card. That's something you just shouldn't. It was just... It was not one of those yellow cards that you should be getting just because you made a stupid decision. Like, you know better. You shouldn't be doing that. But given that, he's in his very early 20s and only in his 4th game of Premier League play, but still looks like he's been in the league for 5 years. Speaking of players that's only played 4 games and have seemed like they've been here for 5 years, Destiny Udogie gets an assist, gets a 9.0 today. Or yesterday, I should say. Another steal. I can't believe that we got those 2 for the prices that we paid for them. I mean, I think it was maybe a total of 20 million or 20 million pounds for both of them. Absolutely insane. I can't believe that. I'm so thrilled with Destiny Udogie. He is a great left back. He's playing that inverted role, so I'm so excited to see what Postecoglou does with him, because he just perfectly embodies the Postecoglou system of being that inverted fullback. And, he's only going to get even better. And I can't wait to see how that looks, because that's going to be absolutely amazing to watch. Mickey van de Ven, another good performance from him. I mean, he was a great signing for us in this window. Yes, probably still a little bit of an overpayment, but, I mean, it's going to pay out in the end. He's that good of a player. Gets a 7.5 on this match. Christian Romero with that absolute strike in the stoppage time of first half gets an 8.2. He was also a pretty good defender in this game too. Got to say that. But that shot from outside the box, I truly just can't believe that. That was absolutely crazy, because this is his second goal on the season. His first one, I believe, was somewhat similar. Or no, that was a header in the Brentford game. But, when he puts on this away shirt with, it's like a purple with the monochrome Spurs logo, he turns into prime Messi. It's absolutely unbelievable to watch. This man is absolutely insane out there. Pedro Porro, still on that right wing, right back position, I should say, still, playing that inverted role, kind of like Udogie, except on the other side. He gets 7.9. He got an assist on the game. Pretty good performance out there. Would I like to see a little bit of rotation between him and Royale? Yes. Do I understand why we're not doing that? Absolutely, because, if you got something going, there's no need to mess it up. So, completely understand that. And then Vicario gets a 7.4 because, while yes, he had a very good game, some of the goals probably could have done something maybe. And, it is what it is. We still came away with the win. He still had a pretty good performance, so I am happy with that. Looking at the substitutions, Ivan Perisic gets a 7.1. In these duties where he comes on in like the 60th, 70th minute, like in that area, he always ends up getting in like the sevens. He gets 7.1 for this game. And he perfectly fits that role, I think, of that sub to take on whoever's on that left side and just play out the last 20 minutes. I like that as his position. I don't think he's a great starter, if I'm honest. I don't think he's not of the age to be playing the 70 minutes. He's of the age to be playing the 20 and 30 minutes. Of course, I'm kind of saying he's old, but he's still a pretty good player right now, and hopefully Postecoglou has a bit more of a plan for him. I mean, his plan's still kind of borderline right now of if he's going to be a starter or if he's going to be a bench player. I'd rather him be the bench player and come on, just given our depth isn't great at all, and I think that was quite proven this week when you play your B squad against Fulham and losing the Carabao Cup, but then you play your A squad against Burnley and you put up 5. So then you get to Højbjerg, who came on, that was for Sarr, so he moved into that defensive midfield spot. Got a yellow card. He just did Højbjerg things, so he gets a 6.8. Richarlison comes on for Son after Son gets his hat trick. Doesn't really do much. Gets a 6.4. Royale and Skip came on in the 86th minute, I believe it was. So neither of them had enough play time for me to give a true grade that actually fits what they did in this game. So they stay without a grade for this game. Postecoglou gets a 9. The changes that he made today, I think, or yesterday, I should say, they almost perfectly embody what we should be doing right now, trying to find that perfect squad lineup that's going to get us goals. Gonna, not concede a ton. So if we continue with Son at the top, I'm completely fine with that. If we continue with Son at the top and Solomon on the left with Kulusevski on the right, I'm completely fine with that. If we want Son at the top, Johnson on the left and Kulusevski on the right, you get my point. I think Postecoglou can figure this out. Now that the window's closed, we know nobody else is coming in until January. So therefore, what you're going to have for at least the next 4 months. So hopefully we get something locked in somewhat soon of what a traditional starting 11 will look like for Tottenham. Hopefully it's something similar to this, since it had a quite good result, obviously, on Saturday. So given that, that's the full recap for Burnley 2, Tottenham 5. What a performance from the boys. Going on the road to Turf Moor, never an easy game. So getting the win, quite big for this club as we go into an international break. Currently sitting second in the table, only behind Man City, who haven't lost yet. So they are on 12. Tottenham are on 10, and Tottenham are tied technically with, I believe, 4 other clubs on 10 points, but Tottenham are at top with goal differential. So that is, we move on to the international break. So that means Top the Perch not back for a few weeks. Next game is at home against Sheffield United, which, we're 4 games into the season. It's hard to believe that it will be 5 games come that Sheffield United game. And that's going to only be the second home game. It's starting on the road, never really fun. I figured it would have at least been 2-2. It ends up being 3-1 with 1 home game. So, yes. So we'll be back after that game for the Sheffield United review. We obviously don't have any cup action in there. Maybe we'll do like a Top of the Perch, see what our players are doing on international breaks, possibly. Maybe. But yeah, given that, that's going to be it for Top of the Perch today. Recapping Burnley 2, Tottenham 5. Thank you so much for watching. If you stumble across this video, like, subscribe, tell anybody you know about this video. Like I said, we'll be back after Sheffield United, but there's other content that will be coming out on this channel in the meantime, so make sure you tune in for that, and we will see you back in 2 weeks for another episode of Top of the Perch.